Welcome to Bite Size Bunny, my name's Tony, and I just beat the God of War Greek trilogy for the very first time, so I wanted to take this opportunity to go through and rank all of the mainline God of War games. So without much further ado, let's jump into it.
Boy.
From a story standpoint, God of War Ascension feels kind of pointless. It doesn't really add much to Kratos' story, and it just feels like a lot of filler. And I don't know if it's just me, but this entry feels like it lacks a lot of the bite that's present in the other entries in this franchise, so I found myself kind of just going through the motions with it. That being said though, this is a God of War game, so you can expect it to deliver on the gameplay, and Ascension does just that. Your trusty blades feel as good as ever. They deliver on that hack and slash gameplay that is so much fun. But also, there's a few smaller additions to the gameplay this time around that I found myself really enjoying as well, like being able to pick up weapons off of the bodies of your enemies and use them against other enemies or even just throw them at them. This is the kind of God of War game you throw on whenever you're wanting to experience that God of War gameplay, but don't really want to pay attention to a story at the moment. It does a good job at scratching that itch.
Boy.
The original God of War is a little rough around the edges, but it's still a solid game. I really loved my time with the first half of this game. I think it's excellently paced, I think there's some really clever puzzles, and the story does a good job at setting things up in a way that I found myself intrigued to see where it was going. But it did kind of lose me in the second half. Whenever you get to Pandora's Temple, it feels like the pacing slows down to a halt. I felt like that section of the game was a bit of a slog to get through, and it felt pretty repetitive and tedious. But the ending of this game is awesome. I think that final twist reveal alone makes up for it, and it really sets up this trilogy for so many interesting possibilities we could explore.
Boy.
God of War 2 is an improvement upon its predecessor in every way. The combat feels smoother with the new weapons and abilities feeling like a vast improvement upon what was available in the first game. I love the variety in locations we have this time around. It allows for this world to feel substantially larger in scale, and it fleshes things out in such a fascinating way. They do some really awesome stuff with the Greek mythology this time around, offering some really cool and unique takes on the characters you meet on this journey. And overall, I think it does a really good job at improving upon everything that came before in that first God of War.
Boy.
God of War 3 is an excellent send-off for the Greek trilogy. This is one of those rare instances where the third installment in the trilogy actually feels like everything that came before it was building up to this moment, and it delivers a lot of satisfying payoffs for everything that was established in those first two entries. The set pieces are epic in scope with some truly jaw-dropping moments. The boss fights are great. Getting to go through and wipe out all of these asshole gods was immensely satisfying. I think this one's also got the best feeling combat out of the entire Greek saga. The weapons and powers are really fun to use, and the fast-paced combat feels cleaner than ever before. And personally, I think the introduction of Pandora's character towards the end of this game does a great job at giving us these little moments that show a more interesting and complex side to Kratos' character.
Boy.
Ragnarok is more of everything you love from God of War 2018 in all of the best ways. The world feels substantially larger as you go to all new areas and meet all new characters that you instantly find yourself being enthralled with. It delivers on the emotional storytelling as it has multiple gut punch moments throughout the narrative that really allow you to feel the stakes that are present this time around. The combat is an absolute blast, and the new weapons that are introduced into your arsenal this time around take that already phenomenal feeling combat from 2018 and expand upon it in all of the right ways. The addition of getting to play Atreus this time around does a great job at spicing things up and making it feel fresh and exciting. It doesn't just feel like it's more of the same. And my god, the highs in this game are so insanely high. Like the Thor fight in the opening of the game, for example, it deserves all of the praise that it gets. I do think Ragnarok has some pacing issues at times, which could definitely bog things down, but I do think it is still a 10 out of 10 video game and an immensely satisfying conclusion to the story that was set up in 2018.
Boy.
And at number 1, I've got God of War 2018. After playing through the Greek trilogy, I found myself appreciating this game way more than I already did. Because while I found the world and the lore of the Greek trilogy to be genuinely fascinating, I personally felt like Kratos' character was a little underwhelming. So the fact that they were able to take Kratos' character, who is this angry brute that is willing to kill anyone and everyone that gets in his way, and then not erase his past, but instead embrace it, while also proceeding to expand upon the fact that he struggles with his past in such a profound and meaningful way, is mind-blowing. And that's before we even mention the beautifully crafted father-son dynamic that is present in this game, or the fact that every character that steps foot on screen is so brilliantly crafted. 2018 really changed how I view this franchise as a whole, and it turned it into something entirely new without feeling like just another reboot. I personally didn't really care about this series growing up, and then 2018 came along and totally rocked my world. And now that I've gone back and played through the OG trilogy for the first time, it really cements 2018 as this revolutionary title. God of War 2018 is a truly special title and a technical marvel. And that is my ranking of the God of War franchise. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And how would you personally rank the God of War games? I'd love to know.